Hey everyone, welcome to Cloud Safari. Have you ever struggled with quickly accessing and understanding your code across your GitHub repository? Today, we'll tackle that exact problem. We are going to deploy an application that can interact directly with your GitHub code, help you search, analyze, and make sense of everything you have there. Join us as we set this powerful tool that will really simplify how you manage your code. Let's dive in. Before starting the video, let me first quickly tell you what RAG is. RAG also stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. It combines two key processes. It retrieves the relevant information from a large vector database and then generates accurate context-wide response based on that data. This makes AI model more smarter and more reliable in delivering real-time answers. So before starting with the code, first let me explain you what the architecture diagram looks like. In this, there are two main components. That's going to be ingestion part and the querying part. For the ingestion part, we are going to use Amazon Aurora as a vector database, and for the querying part, the main component is going to be API gateway. There are two Lambda functions which are going to be used for, one is for querying and one is for ingestion. For the ingestion, once the front-end application deploys the contents in the S3 bucket, then it will trigger the Lambda function, which will then create the embedding based on that to Aurora database. And for the querying part, Amazon API gateway, if we send the post request to API gateway, it will trigger the Lambda function. Based on that trigger, the Bedrock will generate the content from within the Aurora database, that is going to be vector embeddings, and the AI generated content, which will combine both of those and give us the final response. And for the front end part, our front end code is stored in Amazon S3 bucket, and we are using CloudFront as a CDN. Okay, let's start with the code. Since this is going to be a short tutorial only, I'll not be explaining the entire code base. I'll just give you the overview of what the entire application does and all. Okay, so first let me explain what the CI/CD environment is going to be for this application. We have used a task file which is going to simulate the CI/CD environment in our local setup. In this task file, we have created different type of tasks for creating the infrastructure and updating the ECR repositories, uploading the ECR images, changing the env files dynamically, and then deploying the front-end application and all. And also, if you want to clean up the resources after the project is done, you can just run task destroy, which will delete all the resources created after the Terraform apply, and also destroy what has been created in the front-end part. That is it for the CI/CD part. And for the code, for the infrastructure Terraform, we have created different type of resources. Let's say for Bedrock, we have created Bedrock and all as explained in the architecture diagram. I'll be providing this code in the description. I'll provide the GitHub repository link in the description. So you can just, if you want to implement this entire code, you can just clone it and run it. As well as it's clearly mentioned in the README file how we can run this code. So that's not going to be an issue. And in the front-end part, we have created interactive UI that can be used to communicate with the backend, backend that is going to be our Bedrock knowledge base and all. So that's it for the infrastructure and all. If you want a further detailed instruction, like what this does and what each and everything like front-end does, what backend does, Terraform code and all, I'll be if you want that, I can drop a different video regarding that. So this is our entire application that we have deployed. As you can see, we can add our GitHub URL here, and that we can chat with it in this section. For this demo, for this tutorial, I am going to take a repository called BrainAI, which is a very good repository that I have come across these days. Let's take BrainAI GitHub. So we are going to take this repository and interact with it. Let's do that. While this is loading, let me tell you what it's doing behind the scene. There is a tool called Git Ingest. It's an open source tool using which we have created an ingest for our GitHub repository. Let me show you what this actually does. So in our rack setup, this is the main key tool that is responsible for generating all the contents from the GitHub repository. So as you can see that it has created the plain text format for all the code that is in this repository. That's going to be the readme files, all the code and all. As you can see, it has only included 150 KB. So for our use case, we have taken above 100 MB. So it will include all the resources, all the contents in that GitHub repository. So it will make our conversation with the repository more fruitful. So so this is completed. Once this has completed, in behind the scene, what this does is that it will create the ingest using this tool, and after that it's created, it will store those contents in an S3 bucket. As I mentioned in the architecture, there are two Lambda functions. The first one being for the ingestion part, and the second is for querying part. The first function, what the first Lambda function will do is that it will take the contents from this S3 bucket. Once it's triggered, it will send those contents to the Bedrock knowledge base, and which will be used for further questioning. And the second Lambda function does is that it will be used for the querying part, like with communicating while interacting with the knowledge base. As we can see that in the architecture, I mentioned that the API gateway is used, which has provided us the URL for communicating with the backend using this front end. So let me communicate with this repository. Okay, so as you can see that it has given a quite descriptive answer regarding our question. It has given the detailed description about this repository. RenAI is an open source project that provides a semantic engine for mapping business terms to data source, defining relation between them. So as you can see that this is quite helpful to learn about different repositories. As you can see, you can ask different questions regarding this repository. I will not be going into the depth of this application, as this is a short tutorial. You can just, if you want to try this out, you can just clone the repository and just run it. It has been quite mentioned in that readme file. So this is it for the demo part. With this, you have deployed a rack application that can communicate with different GitHub repositories. I hope you find this video really helpful and informative. For further such videos, please do comment in this video, and please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.